You know, when I was in Kyiv in Ukraine, I was there to moderate the First Lady's Summit of First Ladies and Gentlemen. And in the middle of it, a guy came on in combat fatigues. I assumed he was military. It turned out he wasn't at all. His name is Fedor Shandor. He's the head of a sociology faculty at a university in Kyiv and a historian. He's with the territorial defense in the Kharkiv region. And he actually has gone in and enlisted to fight on the front line. He came back from the front line to talk at the summit. Here was me talking to him at the summit when I discovered this. I don't think I've ever interviewed anybody who sits on a panel 1 minute and literally is going back to trenches to fight for his country. It's an amazing thing.
My duty in peaceful time to teach. It's my main line of duty. In the wartime, my line of duty is protecting my family and my nation.
So thank you. It's amazing. Well, it was amazing, and then even more amazingly, I got this video from him back on the front line. Take a look.
Hello, Piers. Today is 24 July. It's my soldier's brother. Хлопці, помахаємо Пірсу Моргану. Piers is blindage, maybe 3-4 kilometers of zero line, dead line, Slaviansk region. Hello, nice to meet you.
The guy's a university lecturer. Isn't that incredible? Out there fighting for his country, very close to the front line there. So to Fedor Shandor and your guys in that trench, best of luck to you. We're all behind you. Well, joining me now is tonight's Piers Pack TalkTV contributor Esther Krakue, political journalist Ava Santina, and social and political commentator, I mean, that's a polite way of putting it, Ann Coulter. Welcome to all of you. It's called a welcome across the pond. What brings you to this country and why wasn't I warned?
I thought I'd stage a sneak attack on you, and here I am. No, I love London. I'm so happy here. It's a beautiful city. Please take care of it.
Let me ask you about Ukraine, because there is, there's a growing sentiment in America that with recession really pretty much here now, surging living costs and so on, that America shouldn't be committing so much money to helping fight a war which some Americans feel has nothing to do with them. Zelensky's answer to that was, actually, this is a war everyone is involved in. It's affecting everybody. What's your view?
I don't think so. I mean, you're not going to like my answer, but that was my position from the beginning. And there were
I very rarely like anything that comes out of your mouth.
So
don't worry, you can far away. But I do know a lot of American theorists.
Oh, it is definitely moving that direction. It wasn't at first. It was just, endless coverage for this. I mean, there are a lot of things I could say about this, going back to, I think Putin is a monster. You don't go around invading other countries, but we did provoke him. Putin has been reaching out to America. He was the first person to call after 9/11 to express his condolences to America. And Bush doesn't even call him back. We have just so dissed the Russians for such a long time. And the NATO thing, I'm sorry, I'm with Noam Chomsky, Pat Buchanan, George Kennan. Once the Soviet Union fell, there's no point to NATO. And we keep encroaching.
Well, actually, we're now seeing exactly what the point of NATO is.
Well,
which is to stop a murderous dictator
England,
like Vladimir Putin.
Maybe.
That's what NATO's there for.
No.
If he tries to invade a NATO country, he will get attacked.
It's not a NATO country. He doesn't want to become a NATO country. And no, I'm sorry, the Ukraine was historically part of the Russian empire of influence. And I'm not defending Putin.
So you want the Soviet Union back?
No, I am not.
What's what you're saying?
Why? But why? But let's get back to the main point. Why should Americans care about this? We have our own problems. Why should the British care about it? I mean, you guys... Well, I think it's a beautiful city, and I hope you save it. But you've just passed Brexit, a huge part of which was
I guess it's the same reason that when we... Okay.
And you have more immigrants coming in.
Okay.
I'm so glad
Let's not pivot to immigrants.
that your guy, Boris, is gone.
Right.
And hopefully the next one will actually fulfill the promises of Brexit. But how about doing something for the British
If I could get a word in edgeways, it'd be
American
appreciated. Here's my point to you. When we were attacked by the Nazis and when this city was attacked in the way that Ukraine city is being attacked, actually the Americans, when you were attacked at Pearl Harbour, realised it was a world war and you came and helped us win the war and defeat Nazis, or we'd all be speaking German. And that's the reason why when you have a massive war in Europe like this, which is the biggest since World War II, that's why we should come together. And America, whether you like it or not, biggest superpower in the world, we need your help. Ukraine needs your help.
You can't compare everything to Hitler. Okay.
Actually, I can compare Putin to Hitler. Yeah.
Okay, if Putin
Hitler
attacks
invaded
Pearl Harbor, I'll be interested. But he's not attacking the United
All right.
States.
Ava, I see you've been you've been listening to this with calmness.
Well, no, I don't know. I think you were just talking quite a load of tripe, actually. But, I mean, that's your thing. You know, when you talk about Russia not, you know, Putin not actually affecting the rest of the world, it's nothing to do with America, it's nothing to do with Britain. Britain right now is facing a huge crisis in terms of grain. We physically can't get wheat into the country. This winter, we're looking at our energy bills are going to be something like £500 a month. It does affect us. It directly does affect us. But, you know, we talk about globalisation. Most of your products, probably half of what you're wearing, has come from different parts of the world. It's totally obscene to think that we're going to go back to some sort of, like, you know, FDR, like,
why not
close it down.
Rwanda? What's going on in Swaziland? A lot of countries are having a lot of problems, and not all of your energy problems or grain problems are coming from the invasion.
Do you actually know
and, you
that
know,
for fact, or?
Your interview with him, I mean, I think the most disturbing point was, and I'm glad you asked him, are you willing to give up anything here? And no, his position is...
Why should they give up anything?
Because, what, he's going to fight to the last dead Ukrainian?
Somebody invaded the United States. OK, if someone invaded America, any part of America, right? You're telling me that a single American would say, oh, yeah, we'll give them a bit of land, whoever it is. No, you would come together and drive them out of your country.
Okay, and
by the way,
Russia has...
you'd want us to help you, which we would do.
Okay, could we Google something? Russia has, what, 50 times more people than Ukraine? You got to end this war, or it's going to be down to the last Ukrainian.
All right, Esther.
I'm rarely speechless, but I think in this instance, I'm quite speechless. I think the international repercussions of what is happening in Ukraine cannot be understated. At the moment, the Russian foreign minister is in Africa because he realizes that, you know, people have forgotten this, but many Africans are dying with the rising cost of energy and wheat, for instance. Egypt, which is the largest importer of wheat, the price of wheat has gone up by 250%. I think it's irresponsible to think that what is happening in Ukraine isn't affecting everyone, including Americans. And it's only going to get worse. I mean, look, the US is trying to find a way around that at the moment, but I just don't understand how you can think this is not an American problem. It clearly is, and he's not going to stop at Ukraine. Moldova's next, then Lithuania, then Estonia, then Latvia.
Would you give it all back to him if he wants? He wants to restore the Soviet Union.
No, and I think
Vladimir, help yourself.
Far more preposterous than the idea that he's going to, I forget Pearl Harbor, that he's going to continue. Okay, when he continues, maybe we care. But you know what else affects the rest of the world? Whether the United States of America remains the United States of America. Why don't you guys come over and help us build our wall? Why don't you help us deal with crime? Because you're right, we do step in. We send grain, food, we take out warlords. I mean, you guys do too. But America is mostly a force for good in the entire world, and our country is crumbling right now. So, yes, everything has an effect. I'm not saying there's no effect and you can make your 6 degrees of separation. Saving the United States of America, I think saving Britain, is more important than what is happening in Rwanda, Swaziland, or Ukraine.
OK, let's move on to the issue of the Tory leadership race, because actually whoever wins this race is going to have to make these kind of calculations. And there will be people in this country who also think we shouldn't be spending a lot of money on a war in Ukraine when we have so many problems here. And they may not do the points of detail which bring the things together and connect the dots here. From what you've seen of Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak, who do you trust more of the two of them? One of them will be Prime Minister, to actually do the right calls on this kind of thing.
Whichever one employs Ben Wallace as their defence secretary, I think is the only one who's actually been holding it together. I don't think either of them have got a clue.
I don't think there's much disagreement there. I don't see any of them sort of getting rid of Ben Wallace. But I think it's clear that Rishi Sunak's campaign is in freefall. And I think the biggest issue he's had has been communication. Boris made a cheeky remark today that he suddenly found the money to cut VAT on energy bills, which he actually refused to do beforehand. And he hasn't really explained sort of his stance on why
he's kind of flip-flopping, isn't he? Yeah, it's going to be... Look, we've got 5 weeks left. I'm actually off from today. I'll be back on the day they announce the new Prime Minister. And I would say, at the moment, Liz Truss is playing a better political game.
Yeah.
That Rishi Sunak probably assumed he was going to win this quite easily. Not so easy now at all.
But it's 2 shades of the same colour, right?
Do you care who wins that or not?
Yes, Esther told me, who's the guy I like, Rees-Mogg?
Yeah, Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Oh, my God.
Whoever he supports, I'm...
You know what? There's always a low moment with Ann Coulter in an interview, and we've just reached it.
He's wonderful.
From a very low bar, by the way. It's good to see you. And, you know,
thank you.
As always, you've rattled everybody's cage. Really good to see you.